between her thighs. Bitches be cray cray. She claimed that she looking as pretty cray. Extra, extra, read all about it. Crazy bitch news, crazy bitch news, crazy bitch news, crazy bitch news. It's all in lies, somewhere between the lies. The shrink and oversized, the trap between the thighs. Bitches be cray cray. She cray that she looking as pretty cray. Extra, extra, read all about it. Crazy bitch news, crazy bitch news, crazy bitch news. It plays crazy bitch news.
All right. Apparently I'm here. But first things first, let me do the audio check. There it is. All right. Well, good enough. If it's good enough for me, it's going to be good enough for you. So I'm going to go through these crazy bitch stories. Yeah, we're going to go right through them. We're going to plow that field. And then I'll leave. Yeah, it's the usual. So, murders, a couple of irresponsible morons, and a drunk. So there we go. That'll be nice. No teachers. There was a crime, but it wasn't, no sex was involved. It was just all very sad. And I was like, Not that these stories aren't sad. Oh, there's plenty of sadness to go around, but yeah. Sometimes I just can't deal with some of it. No Dexys, hit the like button. You know it. Alan J. Mannix, bitches do be crazy. On occasion. On occasion. St. Ranger, Pam brought our movie to a halt. Pam said, Doug's on. Nice song. Well, there you go. I was watching a flick. Well, I'll get through this as fast as I can so you can get back to your movie. Bird 64, hi, Doug, and everybody else. Well, hi. Well, all right, here we go. Let me take a look. Just going to go ahead and share the screen rather than put this through OBS. I don't know, back and forth. I just don't like the way I got to put myself in this darkness so it doesn't see when I move over here. It kind of does this little, and I can't stand that. And then, when I put myself, here I am in my black jacket and all that over the white page of the article, and I could just take myself out of it and we could do that. But I didn't have time to put the Photoshop characters all together and all that stuff. So, pretty lackluster. Boy, I'm really just ruining the whole show before I even start. That's probably not a good idea. So I'm just going to shut up about that, Yeah. All right. So a lot of times you have certain problems with the crazy bitch scenario. Sometimes she's mad at the boyfriend. Sometimes you can couch that in mad at daddy type scenarios and psychosis and that sort of thing. A lot of times the husband's the problem that she has. And, we're going to get into that and what her solution is. But a lot of other times they're mad at mommy. Oh, mothers and daughters, that can be a full-on war and stuff. So we're going to see some examples of some daughters. I don't know. They just had a problem with mommy, And, well, of course, it's all very sad. It is. But also, just nuts. Daughter charged with killing Milwaukee mother by blunt force trauma. So there she is for her mugshot. It looks like she just got up, though, you know. So look, don't hold the mugshot against her. You can probably hold the death by blunt force trauma against her, but, you know, the mugshot, well, what are you going to do? So 29-year-old Lauren Spores was formally charged October 14th with first-degree intentional homicide in the death of 64-year-old Carrie Zettel, who was discovered dead in her home near South 23rd Street and West Ramsey Avenue, October 12th. A rock stained with blood was found on the lawn behind the home next to Zettel's body, which, a criminal complaint states, was covered with a blanket when police arrived around 2:20 p.m. Spores was also still in the home and was arrested. So she didn't try to make her get away, you know. According to a search warrant obtained by WTMJ, Zettel had initially called police around 15 minutes prior, stating her daughter was being violent. A neighbor who lived next door told police Spores had been sleeping on Zettel's front lawn the morning prior to her death. On the front lawn, so not even in the doghouse or the shed, just right there, or the porch maybe, but no, slept on the front lawn. I guess that explains that. Well, you know, the hair doesn't look all that bad if she's sleeping in the yard, but well, whatever. She was then seen pacing back and forth in front of Zettel's home about an hour before the alleged incident. Yeah, probably babbling to herself, hearing voices, all that kind of stuff, you know. Court documents reveal a strained relationship between Spores and Zettel. The mother had filed a restraining order against her daughter in 2018, following multiple alleged incidents of domestic violence. The order stated Spores was not to have any contact with Zettel or set foot on her property. Well, the front lawn is her property, you know. Spores violated the order on multiple occasions, though each time doctors found she was not competent to move forward with court proceedings. Oh my God. This went through every avenue of the system and they did nothing. Oh no. Jeez. This poor woman, no one would help her. What's the point of having restraining orders if the subject of it is going to violate it over and over again? And there's, yeah, well, she violated it, huh? Well, did you at least wag your finger at her? You know, don't you do that. And the doctor said, hey, she can't stand trial because she's nuts. Oh. Anyway, after a fourth violation, oh, maybe this was the trick, Spores was sent to a Milwaukee County mental health facility for an unknown period of time. Well, however long it wasn't long enough. The criminal complaint notes neighbors indicated Zettel had previously said Spores suffered from schizophrenia. Probably, yeah. Spores made an initial court appearance October 14th. She faces life in prison if convicted. Yeah, now she'll get locked up. But it's too late for Mom, who tried everything and everything failed her. So, well, Lauren's got a home now, you know. And all you people, you know, the state and everything, and everybody around who, well, at least the neighbors say, yeah, something's going on there, you know, but now you all have to feed this thing. who brutally murdered her own mother with a rock. So, yeah, call the police and get a restraining order. Now, the police, they did their job. They showed up. They said, yeah, something going on here. Crazy look, and that pretty cray. And then, okay, restraining order. You can't go to this woman's property. And she went anyway, sleeping in her front lawn, And then, well, she did what Miss Zeidel said she was probably going to do. Oh, well. Well, we got her now. That's right. We got her now. So anyway, there you go. That's that mother-daughter story. I'd say it didn't end well. Yeah. Oh, well. It's like that old saying when someone says they want to kill you, believe them. Well, Mom did believe her, but courts didn't, I guess. Doctors said, hey, she can't go on a trial. She's crazy. And that's that thing where we keep bringing this up that, we got to get back to committing people forcibly. And I don't know what else she was supposed to have done. I suppose if the daughter had attempted to kill her and the mother had survived and, was in the hospital and everything, and they said, yeah, she brutally beat me and all that, trying to kill me. Maybe then they would have locked her up in a facility, but which they did at one point, which for an unknown amount of time. And then, was she able to stand trial then? But it's not, she's batshit. Oh, but we gotta let her out because we don't want to violate her rights or whatever, or some shit, okay. So there you go. Great going, So, hey, what's the worst that could happen? Well, she could kill her mother. You think? Yes. Blah, 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 blah. Saint Ranger. No, dummy. Take rice as long, please. Take twice as long. Twice as long. Pell, hey, everyone. And everybody's saying hi. Nodak says, instead of bedhead, she has deadhead. Yeah, not well. But Nodak is saluting. Everybody is saying hi to everybody. That's nice. All right. Well, what about another woman who had mommy problems, apparently? Oh, yes, there is another one. And that's the thing, because if you don't have kids, which I don't, no one's going to care about you when you're elderly and infirm and stuff. That's what I got to look forward to. But then again, sometimes even having the kid, it doesn't work out. And I don't know, it's sometimes great things can happen in life. Other times, horrible things happen no matter what you do. Crapshoot, Speaking of crap, woman who allowed her wheelchair-bound mother to rot in urine and feces with sores the size of a fist is headed to prison. By her mugshot, she seems shocked that this is happening to her. Why does this happen to me? Well, she's well fed, Anyway, a Pennsylvania woman will spend up to 8 years behind bars after she allowed her wheelchair-bound mother to wallow in her own poo-poo and pee and develop sepsis, which led to her death. Yeah, that does happen. That's why you shouldn't let people wallow in their poo-poo and pee. No. Colleen Saya, 38, pled guilty to negligent care of a dependent person, a felony of the first degree, and was sentenced to 15 months, to 8 years in prison. Authorities uncovered the horrific case after receiving a 911 call on July 19th, 2022, about the victim who was suffering from sores that would not heal, probably from all the, So officers found the woman at a home on the 300 block of Mill Hill, it rhymes, Rome in Woodbury Township, barely responsive. She suffered from numerous open wounds, including one on her backside that was the size of a fist. The victim also was dehydrated and had extremely low blood pressure. She had open wounds covering her entire right side that were foul-smelling and indicated she had not been moved. Yeah, that's if you don't move them around, that's when the sores start. Yeah, the bed sores. Anyway, paramedics also noted her pajama gown and diaper were soiled in feces and urine. She died on July 21st, 2022. Cops say she became wheelchair bound and had weakness in her right side after a stroke in February 2021. So, boy, this is a short span of time in between when she had her stroke and ends up like this. Dead because of neglect. A little over a year later. So, investigators conducted a search of the home and found it to be in deplorable conditions with animal feces. See, even the animals aren't taken care of. Covering the floor and a foul odor. Well, gee, I wonder what the foul odor was. Yeah. Troopers with the Pennsylvania State Police interviewed Saya, who said her mother was in a nursing home for about 3 months after her stroke, but insisted on coming home. So it's mom's fault. She said she felt as if she had her mother's situation under control and would take shifts with others caring for her. Saya claimed the sores on the victim's backside were about a week old and were healing, but the medical examiner opined they were older. Yeah, they were. She tried to treat the sores. No, she didn't. But they seemed to be getting worse, and her mother began wailing in pain and unable to communicate other than answering yes or no questions. Yeah. Once the sores start, you're supposed to move. Yeah. Saya admitted that she had not bathed her mother, who also suffered from diabetes, in months and had not taken her to a doctor in over a year. Yeah, see, that's a problem too. You didn't think of that, huh? Well, I thought about it. An autopsy determined the victim died of sepsis that was caused by a skin infection, likely coming from the feces and urine she was lying in. Had Saya bathed her mom and washed off the urine and feces, her chances of survival would have been much higher, according to the medical examiner. You think so? Probably. Well, at her sentencing, Saya told a judge her mother kept refusing treatment. So again, look, this is mom's fault. Judge Jackie Atherton Bernard admonished the defendant, saying, "We don't even treat animals like this." Well, it sounds like she did. So, But then again, the animals probably weren't entirely trapped and helpless with bed sores and stuff. But they just pooped everywhere, Anyway, your actions are selfish, Bernard reportedly said. Odds are, yes. You chose to take care of yourself. Oh, boy, did she. Because, again, we looked at the mugshot. She's a hefty girl, And your own medical needs while you left your mother to rot. Added Weeks in a statement? Who's Weeks? I guess I missed somebody. What's this? Well, whoever. maybe added weeks to the sentence. Anyway, this prosecution would not have been possible without the investigative efforts of the Pennsylvania State Police and the cooperation provided by Blair Senior Services Incorporated, the paramedics, and the decedent's treating doctors and nurses. Well, yeah, I would assume so. Well, nothing can erase the suffering of the decedent due to the neglect of her care. We are grateful for everyone's efforts to hold the defendant accountable. Yeah, it's all you can do once the victim is dead. She suffered there by herself, unable to speak, unable to move, and her own daughter just couldn't be bothered because she was busy stuffing her face with, I don't know, bonbons and all that. I'm guessing you're probably diabetic too. You sure look it. So, what do your kids think of you? God, hopefully she doesn't have any because holy crap. What the hell? And I mean, look, the mother was probably, in the position she was, stroke victim and all that, and would get irritated. And it's hard. Yeah, it's difficult to take care of it. I know. I've done it. And when it comes to the point of they're uncooperative or whatever, you're gonna have to get them to the hospital. You're gonna have to involve others and all that sort of stuff. It's tough. Yeah. But it's no excuse for them lay like that in that you're a monster, you bitch. So 8 years is too good for her, That's what I say. Because I'm an honorable, righteous man. Alan J. Mannix, nurse bitches be crazy, though. Sometimes. Pell, well, we're going to have an example of that later. Pell fist size on her would look small. Oh, well, yeah, on the daughter. Now, the mother suffered a stroke, and she died a little over a year later. So, and this lady was not taking care of her, so she probably wasn't as big as she used to be. So, that wound looked pretty huge. No doubt, she's got the steel-toed double chin coming in nicely. Yeah. Hunter Iggy, Douglas Nelson, quick question comics book news lie against James Gunn's Superman, say it failed because it came in 4 of 513 million minutes watched. They say it could not beat Black Adam. Well, that's the numbers they're basing it on, the watch views on HBO Max. So since it's been on there, and that's going, I believe, by the Samba TV numbers, it's really the only metric you can get, since none of these streamers will tell you their actual numbers. So they're saying it's not clocking in well. There's also the news that it wasn't a profitable movie. So it came close, but not close enough. And overall, and particularly in the case for the DCU, the Superman movie had to do a lot better than that. It really had to, take the summer, which kind of, sort of, overall, this has been a bad summer for movies. And it beat Fantastic Four. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. So it really didn't do what it needed to do. Then it gets followed by Peacemaker season 2. So it's in trouble. Does it necessarily automatically mean it's over and James Gunn's already fired and everything? We don't know that for sure, but it's understandable to think it might go in that direction, especially since Warner Brothers is looking for a buyer. Looks to be likely, could be Paramount Skydance, could be someone else swoops in. But even, unless it was a massive success, then James Gunn would be secure and he could continue on with his 10-year plan. But it's not looking good at the moment. So, and and whenever there's a merger or whatever, there's always a shakeup, and some people are let go and all that sort of stuff. But if he was really considered this valuable asset, then absolutely not. He would stay in place. Right now, I don't see how you reach that conclusion based on the performance of one movie and two shows if you count the cartoon and all that. We'll see what Lanterns does and what Supergirl does, but if they had a Batman movie on, which they do, but it's not connected, so they're in a rough spot. Baxo Jazz does stuff. Good evening, Mr. Nailsin. Hello, Chad. Good evening. Everybody saying hi. Pell, people can be awful. Yes, they can. Alan J. Mannix, Mama, I'm coming home. Ozzy Osbourne. Yeah, rest in peace, Ozzy. Nonak, when feces are told to be in the home, do they really need to say there was a foul odor? You would think not. Yeah, I understand. But, by the way, there was feces everywhere. And it stunk. Yeah. Crouching Taylor Hidden Swift says hi. Pell L64 says hi, Pell. Everybody says hi. Yep. So anyway, that enormous bitch really did her mother in. Not as directly as the first one. This one, she let it linger for a while, So, I don't know. I got no use for either one of them. So now we move into the women who are really mad at their husbands, and they come up with a solution about that. So our first story takes us to good old Florida. Yeah. A Florida woman. Yeah. Come on. Oh, yeah, I forgot that it says it. Florida woman accused of fatally beating husband with billy club. Was there ever anyone actually named, William Clubb? I don't know. Authorities recently arrested a 60-year-old woman on suspicion of killing her 64-year-old husband with a billy club. Ooh, man. Yeah. She looks like a beast. So anyway, on the night of October 8th, the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office responded to a home on Birch Drive, where they located William Tetchens, deceased. Well, according to the sheriff's office earlier that evening, Bonnie Tetchens reportedly tried to contact her adult son on the phone. The son reportedly returned the call, and Tetchens said Dad was dead and that she hit him with a billy club. The son and his sister went to the residence before finding their dad with apparent head trauma and calling 911. Deputies located Tetchens in the garage near a washing machine with a blood-covered blanket beside her, and the machine was filled with bloody clothes and towels. Well, she just, I like things to be clean, and as authorities took her into custody, Tetchens allegedly pressed the start cycle. Oh no. On the washing machine in an attempt to destroy potential evidence. Yeah, that's exactly what she was doing. Tetchens was arrested and faces charges of second-degree murder and tampering with evidence. I wonder why it's second degree. They said they just broke out in a fight and it went too far. I don't know. Sheriff Richard Del Toro stated, "Our thoughts and prayers are with the family and friends of the victim during this tragic time." It's not a tragedy. It's murder. You can call it second-degree murder, okay, but this is a chosen action. It's not an accident. We are committed to ensuring justice is served, and we'll continue to support the victims' loved ones through this investigation. Well, she got mad at her husband and then beat him to death. You know? Now one wonders, what could it have been? Did he cheat on her? Did he attack her? You know? Or did he just, I've had enough of your bullshit, you bitch? And then she lost it. Could be. I don't know. But, well, there you go. That was her solution to their marital issues. Something about the relationship. It just wasn't working, you know? Even in these late years, you know, they're in their early 60s and I don't know, they just couldn't come together. Why not concentrate on the good times? At one time, you would have to assume these people were desperately in love with one another, you know? I want to spend the rest of my life with you. You're the one. You make me whole. Well, now he's in a hole. So sometimes it ends up that way, you know? What went wrong? Well, probably the Billy Club, of course, but what about the rest of it? Well, we may never know. Well, let that be a lesson to you when you think love conquers all or whatever. Nodak says, I heard they gave her the nickname Clubber Dame. Could be. That could be. Yeah, because she's going to do a lot of time for this, I imagine. So, that could be her new name. You know, get a tattoo saying it and all that. Pale, handsome woman. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she did have that look of, I really don't want to piss this broad off, you know. But there's plenty more where that came from. Yes, indeed. Although this came from Texas, not Florida, but yeah. Texas woman convicted of killing her husband after his death from suspicious illness. Well, she looks upset about the whole thing. Probably about getting caught, though. So a 50-year-old woman was recently convicted of killing her husband, who, you know, suffered from a suspicious illness. So on October 8th, a jury found Sarah Hartsfield guilty of murder in connection with the 2023 death of her husband, Joseph Hartsfield. Previously reported. Well, I didn't read it. So deputies responded to Baytown Houston Methodist Hospital after a patient, Joseph Hartsfield, was transported there via ambulance. You know, the usual way. The sheriff's office said there were inconsistencies in the information provided by the hospital staff and that the illness appeared suspicious in nature. Investigators determined foul play was involved in the victim's death and arrested Sarah Hartsfield. Sheriff Brian Hawthorne stated, this verdict represents justice for Joseph Hartsfield and his loved ones. I'm incredibly proud of our investigators and thankful for the outstanding work of the district attorney's office in pursuing this case from the very beginning, because that's when it started. Their partnership and persistence ensured that the truth came to light and justice was served. Okay, so what happened? Nothing. Well, we'll have to go and see what this says. Come here, you. All right. This takes us back a while. Texas woman arrested after her husband allegedly dies from, again, suspicious illness. So, 48-year-old, well, she was 48 then. She's 50 now. It takes a while for, justice and all that. So anyway, they went to the hospital and said, hey, something's not right here. Due to inconsistencies, investigators reportedly believe foul play was involved. In February, wife was arrested. Nothing. All right, let's try this. Well, this takes us to Facebook. So, Sheriff Brian Hawthorne reports that on January, approximately emergency room, Corporal Yeatman and Deputy Southwell arrived. Investigation due to inconsistency information. Investigation additional inconsistencies as well as other determining factors made the illness appear more suspicious. Sadly, the patient identified died as Joseph through the use of a search warrant and other investigative techniques. Believed there was enough probable cause. Yeah, but what? She poisoned him, right? I mean, this is an active case and only limited details can be released at this time. What's the car got to do with it? What the hell? Well, maybe back to the original. What is this? Is this Facebook too? Yep, it is. Same thing. Investigating, ultimately uncovering evidence. Man. I guess she poisoned the man, but they don't really tell you shit. Well, all right. Let me see what these do. I'll show this. Now that's the one I already looked at. So, and we're back to the stupid now. Meow. So I don't know. I guess we'll just have to assume it was some sort of poison, and beyond that, we just don't get to know. It was a suspicious illness. So, that must have hit the thing and turned it off. Sorry. Jeez, that's embarrassing. Well, that's an odd one. I don't know what to make of that. It seemed like it was suspicious. Have you contracted the deadly disease of suspicion? Talk to your doctor immediately. I don't know. I just have to assume so I don't know. I think he was poisoned. Okay. Did they find that there was levels of some poison in his blood? Pella, who's that brick guy from Fantastic Four? You mean Ben Grimm, the Thing? That's who he is. The actor, I forget his name. Eben something. Pella, not our best day. Well, yeah. Rod Thunderheart. Hail, Nailsin News Network. Why, thank you, Rod. In a world where hearts roar with thunder, one man's heart roars above all others. Rod Thunderheart. Pell, did she say hearts failed? Liar! Yeah. That's what they said. They didn't believe her. Susan Dolan says, hi, everybody. Pell says, hi, Susan. Rudy Baga. Mr. Dub, hope you're well this fine evening. Yeah, doing all right, Susan says, you mean Ben Grimm the Thing? Yeah. That's who that is, Pell. So the Thing, yes, thank you. Well, there you go. We're all caught up on the Thing. He was just a rocky guy. He wasn't, a shape-shifting, disgusting guts on the outside creature like in John Carpenter's The Thing. Nodak, Michael Chiklis will always be my thing. You named it Michael Chiklis? giggle tee hee. Yeah, of the Fantastic Four movies we've got, his was probably the best. Yeah. Susan Dola says Volkswagen came out sometime in the 80s, their version of a Jeep, and they called it The Thing. Stephanie Zimbalist drove one in Remington Steel. Yeah, I remember Remington Steel. Yeah, it was cool. And then Pierce Brosnan wanted to be James Bond, you know? I mean, the show was already done, but NBC wouldn't let him out of his contract, so he didn't get to do it then. He got to do it later, but, yeah. Pella, you mentioned Michael Chiklis in Spurg's chat for the Shield Small World. Well, yeah, he was in the Shield. You know, they did law enforcement a little different than usual cop shows do, but you know, they had their ways. All right. I forget what she did. Oh yeah, this is just road rage, I guess. Woman shoots driver dead for honking at her because she didn't go quickly enough when the light turned green. Well, yeah, people get, good Lord. Oh, I shouldn't do that. I'm sorry. That's offensive and wrong, and I apologize. To cows. Authorities in Indiana arrested a 23-year-old woman after she allegedly shot a man to death because he honked at her for not driving through a green light in a road rage incident. Deborah Benefile stands accused of murder and criminal recklessness in the Friday shooting death of 21-year-old Kentrell Settles in Indianapolis. A probable cause affidavit said officers with the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department responded to the intersection of West 38th Street and Georgetown Road for a shots fired investigation. When they arrived, they found Settles inside a 2006 Chevrolet Malibu, suffering from a gunshot wound to the chest. He was rushed to the hospital where doctors pronounced him dead. Detectives found evidence of a single gunshot in the rear passenger side window. They also recovered a BB gun under the driver's seat. Settle's girlfriend, who was in the car at the time of the shooting, said he was driving her to her parents' house to drop her off when they came up to a red light. When the light turned green, the girlfriend said the Ford SUV in front of them did not move. So Settles honked his horn and drove around it. The green Ford SUV followed with the female driver yelling, screaming, and throwing her hands around while inside the vehicle. Settle started to pull into a nearby plaza when the woman in the SUV, later identified as Benefile, fired one shot into the Malibu. The girlfriend hopped into the driver's seat and drove the rest of the way to her parents' house. Cops were able to identify Benefile and her vehicle, which had a cartooned dumpster fire bumper sticker and a good illegible today bumper sticker on the SUV. Okay. Undercover officers spotted the vehicle and saw someone take off the stickers from the SUV and throw them into the trash, per the complaint. As Benefile was taken into custody, she told an officer the gun in question was in the apartment in a bag. Cops found a .40 caliber Glock handgun in a purse. So she lied. Well, I mean, a purse is technically a bag, but she wasn't specific. See? An autopsy confirmed Settles died from a gunshot wound that entered his back and tore through his lung and heart. Good Lord. The manner of death was listed as homicide. That would have been my guess, too. Benefile declined to speak with detectives after her arrest. She remains in the Marion County Jail without bond. This case is yet another tragic example. It's It's not tragedy. It's not. Tragedies are like accidents, stuff like that. This self-centered, self-absorbed bitch murdered this man, pure and simple. Too busy looking at her dumbass phone, not paying attention. And the guy's like, and then goes around her. Shit like that happens all the time. Pay attention, stupid, but no. Oh, man. Anyway, an example of a simple dispute on our roadways turned deadly over what amounts to nothing. That's right. A moment of anger should not cost someone their life, and yet it often does, said Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears. This kind of senseless violence is something prosecutors and police are seeing far too often. We will continue to work together to hold those who commit senseless acts on our roadways accountable in the courtroom. But as a community, we must find ways to respond to conflicts with reasonableness, not violence. Yeah. Well, violent people are going to violate, you know. The only one at fault here is this crazy fat bitch, you know. So what are you going to do? So, I mean, it was a matter of time. At some point, she gets that bent out of shape over absolutely nothing. You might want to look into other things. Are there any other people in her vicinity that are missing or unsolved cases, this kind of thing? Because that truly is nuts. But, of course, taxpayers have got to feed that disgusting thing. What are you going to do? Them's the breaks. You all got to come together and take care of that crazy bitch. Oh, well. No, there we go. Yeah. Yep. The commish, the shield, psycho cows. Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. But again, I mean, no offense to cows. They're majestic beasts, and without them, we probably couldn't survive. Rudy Baga, the original from World War II, was called the Kubelwagen at bucket car. Yeah, I guess it is kind of a bucket car. Jason Gilbert, not a good egg. No. Frank says, hi, Doug. Would you ever do an international crime report? I don't see why not. Yeah. Nodak. Eek! I always give the horn a quick tap if someone... Yeah, everybody does this. You know, a couple of seconds, all right, but it's like, hey, we got to go. Yeah, he's just sitting there. Yeah. Oh, no, you didn't. And then goes around. Oh, motherfucker. And then, bang, bang. Boom, boom. Captain Infinity Time Travel Police. Toast. Jason Gilbert. Plazas are always cool. Yeah, I don't know, I guess. Rudy Baga, they had an amphibious version called the Schwimmwagen. Did it go underwater too? Like that Lamborghini car that James Bond had? Rudy Baga says, hi, Susan. Another Pellel says, another bitch who thinks she's the only one on the road. Yeah, that's the thing. You know? And the guy didn't do anything. He's just like, she was the problem. It's like, You get irritated in traffic, sure. But it's like, good God. It's like, yeah, you weren't paying attention, asshole. Jason Gilbert, less is more when it comes to talking after being arrested for homicide. Yeah, don't say anything. Susan Dolan, Volkswagen Beetle was inspired by Adolf Hitler and translates as the people's car. Just perfect for their socialist economy. $3 American totally fills the gas tank. Yeah, it was a simple vehicle for everyone to enjoy. Pell nothing about her looks reasonable. Now, Rudy Baga, you have the right to remain silent, but so few take it. Yeah, I know. Like the first 48, all those people is like, what are you doing? Just shut up, stupid. And of course, this would ruin every episode of Columbo, And Columbo's zeroing in on the guy. And then the guy, they're so damn arrogant. That's the whole thing. It's a study in arrogance. And of course, Columbo presents himself as this centric idiot guy. Oh, anything I can do, Lieutenant Tecumseh Columbo. Just let me know. Then after a while, they're like, you're starting to annoy me, Lieutenant. And then eventually it all falls apart. But first thing is, yeah, I want a lawyer. And then most of those cases, Columbo's screwed. He's got nothing. And it's just, but the guy just gives him everything. So, shut up. You go in there and they go, well, your buddy says it was you, man, motherfucker. It's like, don't even fall for that. I want my lawyer. Pell, there is a Jabba joke in there somewhere. Oh yeah. Finally, she can blame the little creature that lives in their folds. He's sitting there. And, yeah, it was him, not me. Alan J. Mannix, I wouldn't say she's crazy fat. Definitely fat, but yeah. Now she's going to get fat on everyone's dime. Well, she probably already was. Yeah. Jason Gilbert, methinks it may be a crime to listen to Doug. What? Come on. That's not true. Alan J. Mannix, my experience is that most people lose their shit if you honk at them. Yeah, but it's like you're like, damn it, I know I messed up. Shut up. Usually that's the reaction, But holy crap. Like, you honked at me. Now you must die. Jason Gilbert, only 15 sick bastards. Only 15. Huh. Susan Dolan says, maybe, but please don't insult the Huts. Yeah, and you can't hold the entire species of Huts accountable for Jabba's actions either, Pella says, LOL, you're right. I apologize for my insensitivity. There you go. See, that's all you got to do. Oh, damn it. I didn't think of that. I'm sorry. Pella wasn't the first Volkswagen designed by Dr. Porsche. Noah Pellel says, like Nodak says, a quick tap like the car is saying, hey, if you lay on the horn, that can be annoying. Well, he honked at her and then he drove around her because even honking didn't really do anything. And then, I don't know, it set her off. She's crazy with murderous rage. Rudy Baga, exactly what have ruined murder, she wrote as well. Back to the, yeah. It's just these people they think they're so brilliant, but they're actually incredibly stupid. And they just won't shut up. And so Jessica Fletcher and Columbo get them in the end. Jason Gilbert, Doug and the Slugs had a borderline hit once. Doug and the Slugs. Huh. I'll have to look that up. Was the song called Borderline? No, but it is a crime not pressing the like button. It is. Don't think I won't find you. I mean, I won't, but don't think I won't. Anyway. All right, that's enough of that disaster. Let me get rid of that one. Goodbye. Yeah, sometimes, you think, a cat fight. Oh boy, now we're getting some. Ooh, these bitches are fighting. Oh boy, this will be great. Well, it doesn't always turn out as great as you might have hoped, Yeah. Woman who tried to intervene in fight between wives shot dead after celebrating 28th birthday. Oh boy. A woman will spend nearly 3 decades behind bars after she murdered a U.S. Navy sailor who stepped in to stop a fight between the suspect and her wife. Nidales Arline Flores Roman, 27, was sentenced to serve 28 years in prison after a Virginia jury convicted her of second-degree murder and using a firearm in the commission of commission murder? No, you mean commission of murder for shooting and killing Petty Officer First Class Katrina Ann Anderson last year. Well, according to the Norfolk District Attorney's Office, Anderson and Flores Roman's wife, who both served in the Navy and were stationed on the USS Mahan, were out celebrating Anderson's 28th birthday on March 15th, 2024. Flores Roman was also out that night with a different group of people. The two groups ended up at the same location at the end of the night. Flores Roman, her wife, and Anderson went back to the couple's apartment in the 1700 block of East Little Creek Road. The wives began arguing in the parking lot, and Flores Roman tried to pull her wife into the apartment. Anderson broke up the fight, and the trio went inside. But Flores Roman, who was apparently not done with the altercation, she went into her bedroom and grabbed a gun. Flores Roman's wife yelled at Anderson to run, and as the victim reached the front door, the suspect fired a volley of shots, one of which hit the victim in her chest. Miss Anderson collapsed on the sidewalk just outside the apartment as she lay dying. Miss Flores Roman hit her once on the head with the gun before tossing it and walking away. The suspect's wife called 911, and paramedics pronounced Anderson dead at the scene. Well, cops arrested Flores Roman. Her wife described an emotionally abusive marriage, you don't say, in an interview with detectives, and said Anderson tried to counsel her as a friend and co-worker. Oh, but Flores Roman thought something else, Jurors took just 20 minutes to convict Flores Roman after a 2-day trial in June. Miss Anderson, the victim of Miss Flores Roman's crime, was a good Samaritan trying to help a fellow sailor. She did not deserve to die. Commonwealth's attorney Raymond Fatahi said in a statement, most people who commit murder offer some kind of remorse. Had Flores Roman showed any sign of being sorry for killing her, we would have recommended less time than we did. I mourn Miss Anderson and extend my condolences to her family. So this bitch is glad of what she did. So obviously she was nuts. This other woman is there. Sounds like she was there with there were two separate groups at, I don't know, bar, club, whatever. And they went in over there, and then she sees Anderson with her wife. Well, she put 2 and 2 together, and the fight breaks out. So, and plus the wife was screaming to Anderson, "You run!" because Flores Roman had decided she was just this ain't no second degree murder. She fully intended to kill Anderson, but Anderson walked up to the door, still trying to help out not understanding, I'm sure, that death was mere seconds away. And so there you go. Crazy ass bitch, insanely jealous. It's pretty easy to figure this one out. But still, the surviving family members and everything, they all got to pay to feed that thing. Oh, well. There you go. Okay. Alan J. Mannix. Would be hilarious to see Doug get questioned by the police after witnessing a crime. Well, I can't talk about it. Frank, I'm fascinated by road ragers. It's great when someone is freaking out on you and they can see you mouthing sorry and then their whole demeanor switches up. Yeah, I guess. But that wasn't going to be the case with that monster, Susan says hi, Frank. Alan J. Mannix says hi. Pell, the wife shot. Well, no, you mean the wife that did the shooting. Yeah. It was the friend who got shot. The wives, they didn't shoot each other. Anyway, Susan, lesbian on lesbian violence. Yeah, that's what it was. I thought they were supposed to be happy people. Well, that's a lie. You talk to police, I would say, yeah, we're constantly having to go to domestic violence calls. Look, you can't be all of them, but I don't know. Jason Gilbert, worst celebration ever. I know. Jesus. Yeah, that's right. It was her birthday. Holy crap. Oh, my God. Yeah, I forget what state was it in? Damn it. Virginia. Okay, probably not, because I'm thinking, she deserves the death penalty, Pele, they are both wives. Exactly. Geez, no mental issues there. Well, a dead punk Gage Tug social media manager. Hey, Doug, how you feeling tonight? Yeah, all right, I suppose. But that could change at any minute. Alan J. Mannix, it's always the left. Usually, yeah. Jason Gilbert, only 13 lonely souls with the good sense to fall asleep to Doug's dulcet tones. Really? Yeah. Oh, well. Hey, look, I tried. Susan says, hi, Jason. Jason says, Doug sounds great, and he wears acid wash jean shirts. Oh, yeah, this one. Yeah, I guess it kind of is. I mean, it certainly looks that way. It's not really of the jeans texture, but through OBS, yeah, it kind of, yeah. I don't know. It's got a collar so I could put the tie through it, Alan J. Mannix, don't make fun of Doug's acid washed jeans. Yeah, there was so much acid, the jeans no longer exist. Rudy Baga, just like Jay Leno, too, Jason. Yeah. I wonder if he ever honked at somebody at the stoplight. He probably did, because he probably took it as car abuse. He's got a point. Rudy Baga, the full Canadian tuxedo. Is it? Wow. You see, you learn things. Jason Gilbert, hola, Rudy. Rudy Baga says, hey, Jason. Susan Dolan says, hey, dead punk Gage. So everybody's, sociable and all that. So anyway, that's it for the sad sailors. And this next one might be an update. It seems familiar. I'm not sure if I did it before. But anyway, some crazy bitch, so I decided to throw it in the hopper. So we'll take a look. What's the story? Woman involved in days in hatchet murder. A victim hacked more than 80 times. Learns her fate. God, you wouldn't have thought, huh? Jeez. Well, anyway, she's learned her fate for the bloody hatchet killing of a man at a motel in Albuquerque. He took that wrong turn in Albuquerque, and now look. Angel, Angel, huh? Angel Salazar, 40, has been sentenced to life in prison for felony murder, second-degree murder, and tampering with evidence in connection with the brutal killing of Ramon Martinez on the morning of September 5th, 2023. Martinez was sitting and smoking outside a room at the Days Inn on Central Avenue in Albuquerque. Salazar and a man who has still not been identified were seen approaching him just before 10 a.m. and then following him inside the room. The unidentified suspect was seen putting on brass knuckles before he walked into the room. After about 30 minutes inside, the two suspects walked out with blood on their arms. It is within that time frame that authorities believe the victim was killed. More than likely, yeah. Martinez was struck more than 80 times with a hatchet. Security camera footage captured Salazar and an unidentified male, Satan, I guess, I don't know, entering the victim's motel room and later leaving with his belongings. The footage also revealed Salazar's bloody footprints as she exited the scene. So they followed the bloody footprints all the way to her home, I guess. At about 5 p.m. that day, the victim's body was found. Police got a call about a body found in a room with a blood trail leading from the motel room to the street about 100 feet away. The victim had cuts to the back of his head and a wound to the shoulder. In addition to the bloody footprints found on the ground outside of the room, investigators reported finding fluid on both beds inside. Salazar was tracked down near another hotel less than a mile from the murder scene. I wonder if the bloody footprints led to her door. That would be something. But after she was detained, she requested medical treatment for fentanyl withdrawal and a cut to her finger. Aww. Detectives tried to interview her, but she declined to make any statements. Well, boy, she did that right, you know. So per New Mexico law, an inmate sentenced to life imprisonment becomes eligible for parole after 30 years. So how old is she, did they say? Oh, she's 40. All right. Well, she'll be an old bitch when she gets out. But then if she's, you know, a good prisoner and all that, she'll probably get out before that, you know. They might be able to commute it. I don't know. But what the hell happened here, you know? And of course, the mystery remains. Who was the unidentified man? We still don't know. So maybe the victim was a John. The unidentified man was the pimp. She was the hoe. And some kind of deal, probably drugs and whatnot. The guy owed them money, something of that nature. Or she said the guy got weird with her or something. Could be that. Or it was just drugs altogether. I don't know. She was suffering from fentanyl withdrawal. And there you go. But she sure knew what to do when you're brought in for questioning. She didn't know that. That's about it. Anyway, they got her, and I guess she's still not saying a mumbling word. So will they find this accomplice? I don't know. So they got one of them, but they didn't get the other. So justice somewhat served, but not complete. Yeah. Nodak says, an old-fashioned ooga horn. Dead Punk Gage says, hi, Susan. Jason Gilbert says, I want a Mark Sanchez in the alley update. Crazy shit. Yeah, that one. Yeah, I do have to look into that. I mean, he's got to be high on shit too, right? I mean, some screwy there. Anyway, Pell reincarnation of Lizzie Borden. Oh, yeah, the hatchet. I wonder if there was any relation with that guy, That it really would be. She literally pulled a Lizzie Borden. Yes. She got, mad, so she took an axe and gave him 40 whacks. So, Rudy Baga, no, not my angel. Now, that's why I figured the accomplice was the devil, Susan Nolan, dear God, another psycho woman with great white shark dead eyes. Yeah, she did, didn't she? Yeah. Yep. She's got the dead eyes. Oh, well. Rudy Baga like a doll's eyes. Hey, I'm Angel. Will you play with me? Oh, boy. Susan Nolan talking to Jason Gilbert. We need a bigger boat. Yeah. Nodak, talk about a hatchet job. That's exactly what it was, Someone said, I'm going to need a hatchet job at the day's end. So they showed up. Plus the brass knuckles. So I guess he beat the guy a bit. And then she came at him with the hatchet. Yeah. Anyway, Dead Punk Gage says, it must be hard figuring out what a person looks like after 80 wounds. Pell, they should give her 10 years per hatchet whack. Well, yeah. Pell, Eileen Warnos type. Could be. Dead Punk Gage, depends on how hard the wall smacks her in the face. Yeah. Jason Gilbert, bad deal for the dude on the wrong side of the hatchet. Well, yeah, it didn't work out for him. Pell, but better looking. What, than Lizzie Borden, I guess? Or Eileen Warnos? Well, yeah. Susan Dolan, this reminds me of two cops who, in the dead of a moonless night, tracked down a pizza thief. This kid thought of everything. Wore black clothes, black hoodie, black tennis shoes, I guess, with flashing soul light. Dead Funk Gage, the devil made her do it. Sounds like it. Probably. At Dead Punk Gage. Yeah, except for problems with Medicare and Medicaid. Hope that gets straightened out soon. All right, there we go. We're caught up on that. So now we move into serial killer territory, apparently. I don't know. I was lazy and only glanced at the headline. So who knows what we're going to find out? Oh, my God. Well, so far, so good, huh? Glamorous suspected? You mean glamorous glamorous suspected serial killer takes pleasure in killing. Kept landlord's body in her home. God, you would have thought, no, not her, huh? Anyway, a glamorous suspected serial killer allegedly kept her landlord's body, decomposing body, inside her home in Brazil. So here's an international crime. This takes place in Brazil. For 5 days, Ana Paula Veloso Fernandez, a 36-year-old mom and law student from Sao Paulo, is alleged to have killed at least 4 people in the space of 5 months. So she took 1 month off, I guess. I don't know. The extremely manipulative suspect takes pleasure in killing and shows a lack of remorse, said police chef Hallison Idioio. I don't know. She wants to kill and would certainly attempt to kill others if released. One of the 4 deaths led to Veloso Fernandez. One of the 4 deaths. Oh, damn it. Why can't I read? Tied to Veloso Fernandez includes her landlord, Marcelo Hardy Fonseca, who she allegedly stabbed during an argument, probably over rent, The case was initially closed due to lack of evidence, but was reopened when the landlord's daughter went back to cops, who were eyeing Veloso, but in a series of other deaths. She then confessed, according to cops, telling them she covered the entrance to the room with a sheet so her son and niece could not see the body. That's it? A sheet? Well, we didn't find any evidence, so we're moving on. Well, she doesn't look that great here. This is the other victim. Jeez, I'm sorry. She only called the police 5 days later when her son began complaining about the smell, and maggots had started crawling around the house. Good Lord, come on. Yeah, well, there was a sheet in the way. Veloso Fernandez said she later burned the couch where she stabbed her landlord, claiming she did it to remove odors and clean the room. Odors, huh? Police have allegedly connected Veloso Fernandez to at least 3 other deaths between January and May this year, mostly using rat poison. So that was her usual modus operandi. Well, you might want to look into any other mysterious deaths in her vicinity, So anyway, Veloso Fernandez allegedly killed 3 others: Maria Preseda Rodriguez, Hader Mahares, I don't know, I'm getting this all wrong, and Neil Correa da Silva. I think I got that one. But for financial gain and revenge. She's accused of first testing the poison on dogs, killing at least 10. She is being held while testing continues on the exhumed bodies. Good Lord. Jeez. See, now she's like giggle, tee-hee, trying to be cute and stuff, and smiling. But now it's like she's a horror monster, a horror movie monster, Jeez. Wow. She just, boy, after the first killing, she thought, man, I found a new hobby, and I'm going to do it some more. And, well, she did. Boy, I really need to proofread these. Pell out. Wow. Pell out. Yeah. Dead Punk Gauge. Damn. Pell out. Brazil. That place is crazy. Well, there we go. Jason Gilbert. She smothered them with her tits. Oh, what a way to go. Well, that's possible. Yeah. Of course, they're saying it was rat poison. But how would that? Okay. Tyler, the perfect storm. What kind of a man lets a woman kill him with a knife? I don't know. Maybe it could be. She says, I'm going to tie you up. He's like, oh boy. And then he's all tied up, thinking she's going to, work it. And then she pulls the knife out. He's like, nah! And there you go. Could be that. I don't know. And then she left his body in the police say, well, we didn't find any evidence because there was a sheet in the way. I don't even know if they meant the sheet was over the body or if it was hanging in the doorway so they couldn't see it on the floor. That is weird shit, Dead Punk Gauge, she's Julia from Hellraiser, only many times hotter. Susan Dolan, Brazil. God, those bodies would have stink to high heavens in that tropical country. Yeah, but she figured a sheet would be enough to cover it up, you know. Tired of the perfect storm. Not the dogs. Yes, she killed 10 dogs. Dead Punk Gage. Whelp, animal abuse. Bitch gotta go. I don't know if they have the death penalty in Brazil. Oh, well. Susan Della, maybe she's Chucky's new girlfriend. She could blame it on the doll. Jason Gilbert. Hot-blooded Latinas are the worst. Yeah, because that was the landlord said, you're late on your rent, and she hacks him to pieces, you know. Alan J. Mannix, that's what you get for being a dude who wants to get tied up. Well, yeah. What are you doing? Dead Punk Gage, the sheet was probably racist? I don't know. That's why the police said, hey, we don't want to be accused of anything. So we're just not going to question that sheet. It can stay right there. I don't know. But it was enough to cover up a heinous murder, which most murders are heinous because, well, they're murders, you know. All right, so now we got to end on some light notes. Those were horrible, disgusting, you know, murders and shit. But now, I don't know, just basic irresponsibility, not to the level of leaving your mom to die in her own poo and pee, but just really stupid and irresponsible. Five-year-old found wandering streets alone at night after mom ran out to Target for several hours. Well, you know, she wanted to check the price, make sure she takes advantage of all the coupons and discounts and stuff. It takes a while, and you want to get your best bang for the buck. And I don't know, lo and behold, the kids got out of the house and everything. A mother in Florida has been arrested after authorities say her 5-year-old child was found wandering around the street alone at night while she was shopping for a new phone at Target. Yeah, well, again, she wanted to get the best deal possible, so she had to examine each one. Maureen Elizabeth O'Neill, 37, was taken into custody and charged with 1 count of child neglect without great bodily harm. Yeah, so the kid's all right, you know, thanks to dumb luck. So according to the Walton County, Florida Sheriff's Office, deputies on the night of Thursday, October 16th, responded to a home on North Gulf Drive in Santa Rosa Beach after a concerned citizen called 911 and told the dispatcher he was with a young boy who had just been brought to his apartment after being found alone in the roadway by an older couple. The caller said he knew the boy was the child of his neighbor, Elizabeth O'Neill. The caller added that he took the boy to his home and went into the unlocked residence, but found O'Neill was not home. The neighbor said he texted O'Neill at 6:41 p.m. informing her that her son had been found crossing the street and asked her to call him as soon as possible. The mother's alleged response was unnerving. The defendant allegedly claimed the 5-year-old son had been threatening her with a knife. What? The defendant allegedly wrote, he chased me around with a knife and said he was going to chop me into pieces every time I turned around. He was holding a knife. I don't know who he is. Oh, boy, this really took a turn. What the hell? So I had to get out of there and run to Target to buy a phone. The homeowners of O'Neill's residence were called, and they sent O'Neill a message about her son being found in the road about 6:54 p.m., and she again sent a disturbing response. I told him to stay inside while I got help protecting myself. He kept grabbing a knife and saying very scary things about chopping me up in little pieces. He's 5. I am reporting him because he needs help. I don't know who that is, but it's not the same kid. There is something wrong with him. So you went to get help at Target while buying a phone. Well, the homeowner replied, Maureen, call me immediately. But O'Neill allegedly responded with another bizarre series of messages. I don't have service, couldn't connect to police. Can you please watch him? I'm trying to buy another phone. Followed by the text, he took my phone and was holding a knife, then my keys, and then wouldn't let me out of the bathroom with a knife. Had no phone battery and ran out to grab a new phone. Another text saying, I'm getting help to set up this new phone. I can't answer calls. Everything okay? Yeah, I don't think everything's okay. Well, at about 8:10 p.m. that day, O'Neill called one of the homeowners who gave the phone to a deputy already at O'Neill's home. The defendant allegedly told the deputy she was at a Target in Panama City, roughly 40 miles away, buying a new phone. She stated she knew her son was safe with her neighbors after Paul messaged her about having him, so she went to get a new phone while I guess the kid was in their care. The deputy told O'Neill to come home immediately. According to the affidavit, the defendant returned to the residence about 90 minutes later, claiming she took a wrong turn coming home, which caused her to take longer. It happens, you know. In a post-Miranda interview, O'Neill allegedly told investigators she left her son at home alone at about 5:30 p.m., claiming they had been talking and the boy had been calm. O'Neill was then taken into custody on the allegation that she did willfully and intentionally fail to provide the child with supervision and care that a prudent person would consider essential for the child's safety. She was being held in the Walton County Jail in lieu of $2,500 bond. Yeah, you need to up that. There's something really off about this. Jeez. Ooh. I mean, she said, oh man, I really screwed up. I wasn't thinking. I got to come up with a story. Hey, I was scared. That little brat was like possessed by the devil or something. Chased me around with a knife and I didn't feel safe. So, of course, my safe space is Target, 40 miles away. So that was the best she could do to come up with a story, at least to her friends. It appears she didn't tell that to the police, but I don't think she should have custody of her child. No, that's that is weird, but it fits. It fits crazy bitch news. It sure does. Not just lazy bitch news. She's crazy. Pell living in Brazil is an almost guaranteed death penalty. Well, there you go. Jason Gilbert, more murder stories, please. Nah, that was it. Dead Punk Gage, she had to get a pack of smokes. What else is new? Well, probably that too. That's probably why she got lost on the way. She didn't get lost. She had to stop and get some smokes. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Damn, somebody noticed. Dead Punk Gage, baby's day out too. Yep. Jason Gilbert. She looks pretty hot. Well, yeah, but Pell 5-year-old left alone. Did she think she is the 80s? Yeah, she thought that, hey, movies do it. Jason Gilbert. It's all unnerving. Yeah. I just figured she's just this idiot and got hung up at the store. Of course, didn't realize it was 40 miles away. I thought, oh, maybe it's just down the road and something. And, didn't get a babysitter or whatever. It was just stupid. Then it's this whole weird story about my kid was chasing me with a knife. A 5-year-old. So yeah, title of The Perfect Storm. What kind of a woman lets a 5-year-old threaten him with a knife? I don't think there was any knives. That, weird, Hello, was he found with a knife? Yeah, I know. It's like they search his room. Susan Dolan. So this broad's kid is possessed by Chucky. Yeah, I guess that's her story. That's not him. I don't know who that is. 2,500 Bell. Dead Punk Gage. Sounds like Child's Play reboot, only after Charles Lee Ray possessed Andy. Title of The Perfect Storm. There are 5-year-old chess masters. Your kid shouldn't act like a loose dog when it escapes the house. Well, it is her child. So Pell Out Mom was the son's target. So she went to Target. This tracks. Oh my God. It all makes sense now. Dead Punk Gage. They start so young. Well, yeah. Probably because, she was teaching him all kinds of crimes and stuff. Pell Out, that wrong turn took her to a bar. Possibly, yes. Pell Out, child safety. She let him grab a knife. Yeah, that's another thing. Tyler, The Perfect Storm. She needs to find that boy a daddy. Yeah, where's daddy? Hey, I won't have nothing to do with that crazy bitch. Yeah, but your kid. Huh? Susan Nolan, how is it these psycho Karens manage to breed? Well, Dead Punk Gage, way to show the police you're a responsible adult by ripping off Child's Play as an excuse. Congratulations. Yeah, that's the best she could do. I gotta have a story. I know. My child's a demon. Nodak, because there is no way she could have just said, if you give me that knife, we can get McDonald's. Now, that wouldn't work. I don't know. Maybe he was more into Burger King and she wasn't. And she's like, no, I told you, no Burger King. Well, then I'm going to cut you up into pieces. Pam, pam, pam. Okay, we'll end on this. Oh boy, how bad is it? Well, an award-winning nurse has been fired. Oh, it's pretty bad. From her hospital job after she vowed she would let police officers and their families die during her drunk driving arrest. Yeah, that's a problem. Most hospitals would frown on that because hey, we want you to come here and we'll take care of you. They don't mean that kind of taking care of you. Crystal Tadlock, 35, shockingly declared she would break her oath to do no harm while handcuffed in the backseat of a patrol car. She was taken into custody in Magnolia, Texas. Sweet Magnolia. About 45 miles outside of Houston, after she was caught speeding and failed a field sobriety test. The nurse, who has worked in the intensive care unit at Memorial Hermann Greater Heights Hospital for 7 years, launched an expletive and racist rant at officers as they hauled her off to county jail. I'm a fucking nurse. And when you come through my hospital, don't worry, I'll let you die. Well, shouldn't they worry? Tadlock told the officer, as heard in patrol car footage. The officer mockingly replied, oh no, prompting Tadlock to double down on her threat. She added, all your family members, Greater Heights, don't go there. She also criticized the officer for having an accent from another country and suggested he should be deported by immigration authorities. Tadlock, who just 4 years ago won an award for extraordinary nurses, was terminated from her role at the hospital after an investigation. So there she is in happier times, probably doing the TikTok dance during the shutdown. I don't know. Anyway, police pulled Tadlock over for speeding just after midnight Saturday. It reportedly took her 40 seconds to stop the vehicle. She also ran a red light and hit a piece of concrete. Officers, noting how she presented with bloodshot, glassy eyes and slurred speech, had Tadlock undergone a field sobriety test, during which she almost fell backwards. That doesn't sound good. During the drive to the county jail, Tadlock addressed the test and blamed her poor performance on a recent eye procedure. I couldn't walk straight because I had a fucking eye injection yesterday because my perception is permanently off, she yelled at the officers. She also addressed the officer's vernacular, claiming he can't speak straight because you have an accent from another country. He began to read her rights, but Tadlock interrupted. That's because ICE hasn't picked you up yet. You really just said you don't want me there because you're gonna let me die, the officer said. Oh, boy, she's upset. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. How bad was it?
Stop! I have a child!
A contentious ride to jail Saturday in Magnolia.
Oh, no.
And the woman in the back seat wants officers to know exactly what she does for a living.
Well, I'm a nurse, and when you come through my hospital, don't worry, I'll let you die.
Oh, no!
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
All your family members, and this is all on recording?
It sure is. Police identify the woman as 35-year-old Crystal Tadlock, a nurse at Memorial.
Yeah. So it looks pretty bad, doesn't it? Well, yeah, I mean, you're not that great of a person. You think you can treat me like this? Tadlock replied. She was charged with driving while intoxicated, but vowed to get it dismissed. She told police, "You're going to be so embarrassed. And I'm also white." Come on, what? Tadlock, during her arrest, also tried to tell the officers they couldn't take her into custody because she is a mother. "I have a child," she screamed. According to Magnolia Police, Tadlock admitted to having a few drinks at a concert ahead of the traffic stop. Just a few, though. She refused to undergo a breathalyzer test in the field, so officers tested her blood alcohol content levels. As of Tuesday night, police were still waiting on the result. It doesn't matter. The force, in a post on Facebook, confirmed she was charged with a DWI and shared how she threatened the officers. The female, who was a nurse, stated that if any of us came to her hospital, that she would make sure we died. Unfortunately, we couldn't charge her with not being a very nice person. She has since bonded out of jail. Memorial Hermann Greater Heights Hospital also terminated her employment. See, she's a mother. The safety and privacy of our patients, visitors, and workforce are our top priority, and we take such matters very seriously, the hospital said. Tadlock was the recipient, the Daisy Award for Extraordinary Nurses. I don't know, can they revoke that, or I don't know. Anyway, her biography on the Daisy Foundation website highlighted how she always demonstrates a compassionate, caring, positive attitude toward patients, family, colleagues, and all healthcare disciplinary teams. She was praised for being kind to patients, patients' families, and kind to all her colleagues. Well, boy, you never know someone until they get drunk, Let's see what other footage we have here.
Okay.
I dropped my friends off and I'm heading home. I'm a nurse. I do so much good for this world.
Okay. What's that?
This is a poppy.
What is that?
It's a cranberry fizz. It's
Okay.
no alcoholic drink. That sucks. I just literally chopped off my
Okay.
friends that were all drunk.
Mm.
I haven't drank in a long time because I've been breastfeeding. And
Okay.
so I quit breastfeeding about a month ago. So
Okay.
I'm very careful because, I don't want to do too much too fast because I have a small baby, and I'm a nurse.
Right.
Okay, I hear you. Alrighty. So what I'm gonna have you do, ma'am, right now is put your hands behind your back, okay?
Wait a minute. She's a nurse and a mother.
Why are you taking me to jail?
Because you're drunk.
1 second.
But shouldn't you tell me the reason you're
Just
taking
give me
me
1
to
second.
jail?
Alrighty. Do you understand what was just read to you?
Yeah, you do.
Greater Heights, don't go there.
Yeah, okay. So, when the waterworks don't work, then it goes to all the, you bitch, don't come to Greater Heights or you'll die. And you're from another country. What good Lord. It's like I'm tired of being a nurse. I just want to be completely destroyed and ruined. And, look, I've been breastfeeding, so I really wanted to drink, okay? I'm a mother and a nurse. So cut her some slack. Come on. Well, you're not a nurse anymore. So there you go. See, it all worked out. So that's it for this edition of Nailsin News, Crazy Bitch News. Yeah. So do a quick check and no super tips. So that's pretty much it for tonight. So I'll read a few more of these and then we'll take off. Psycho Karen's. Yeah, I read that one. McDonald's. That's Dead Book Gay. That's simple because crazy girls are easy. Yeah, that's what it is. What am I supposed to say? It is what it is. Nobody is more into Burger King. Pelle, go ahead, say what you won't do, what we hired you to do. Yeah. Well, hey, come on. She's like, I was drunk, okay? Exactly. Susan Dole, a typical response from a wokey Democrat. Yeah, it usually does come right off the tongue, Deadfoot Gage, did she ask the cops who they voted for? I didn't hear her say it, but maybe. I don't know. Pella says 100%. Susan Nodak, letting parents die is bad for business. Or patients die. Yeah, they usually frown on that. You're supposed to keep them alive and all that. But she said, I'm going to let you die. Pella RN in her case stands for raving nut. Yeah. She managed to keep up a facade and won an award. Yeah. Dead Book Gage. Wow. Didn't see the deportation part coming. Dead Book Gage. Since when did doctors start injecting bourbon into their eyes? Well, Pelle, cute, but crazy. Yes, this does happen. Title of the Perfect Storm. Whoa, buddy, she hit. Nodak, it sure is. Blah. Susan Dolan, like, not really. New York City hospitals got away with it all during the coup. Well, yeah. Then they incinerated the bodies after vivisecting for usable organs and bone marrow. Dead Punk Gage, there goes her career prospects. She'll never work in the medical field again. Well, maybe elsewhere. Susan Dolan said, Pella, Susan Dolan, kind of why I'm no longer an organ donor. Instead of saving me, they'll Streel. My parts like a caddy in Brooklyn. Pell strip. Oh. Susan Dolan at Dead Puck Age. Oh, she'll get hired by Hamas to work in their PLO hospitals. Tyler the Perfect Storm. She should start a Dabbleverse show. She would be awesome. Well, like what? Live stream her getting drunk in traffic and stuff. And then, well, she can't say I'm a nurse anymore. I'm a mother. Title of the Perfect Storm. Oh, yeah, I already read that one. Dead Book Cage. Until she gets blind, stinking drunk, and then they saw the real lady behind the image. Yeah. She's just so pissed off that she got pulled over. And she knew she was drunk. And there you go. And I'm so mad at yourself. No, you. Phil, she is talking too much. She likes drunk. Like she's drunk. Oh, yeah. Pillow. So she does so much good for this world, like keeping the police in business. Pillow. It would be funny if she pulled a male and asked the cop if he was Jew. Oh, well, she wasn't going to call him sugar tits. Dead Punk Gage. So, oh yeah, she'll fit right in. Dead Punk Gage. We live in a really strange time where empathy and humanity are just buzzwords used to beat people over the head with when they don't agree with something. Yeah. So there you go. See, a light note. Everything's fine. She can't be a nurse for the moment. But it's probably for the best. Nodek, I wonder what concert she came from. Yeah. I guess that will remain a mystery. All right. There we go. That's your latest edition of Nailsin News Presents Crazy Bitch News. Yeah. And they were indeed cray. And that pretty damn cray. All right. Well, we'll do it again soon, I'm sure. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a drawing stream tomorrow or something like that. I can't really think of it at the moment. But that's the show. Gee, I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, I'll do another one. Be sure to check out indieplanet.com for my comic books. Just head over there and look up Night. It'll lead you to the Doug Nelson page, all that good stuff. And check out my locals, nelsonratings.locals.com, and of course the Nelson Ratings channel. And finally, or maybe first, I don't know, the Mr. Nailsin podcast over at radiomisfits.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Have a good night, everybody.
Crazy bitch news. Bitches be cray. She cray and she look, and that's pretty cray. Extra. Read all about it. Crazy bitch news. Crazy bitch news. Crazy bitch news. Bitches be cray. She cray and she look, and that's pretty cray. Extra. Read all about it. Crazy bitch news. Crazy bitch news. It's all in her eyes, somewhere between the lies, the shrinking of her sides, the trap between her thighs. Bitches be cray. She cray and she look, and that's pretty cray. Extra. Read all about it. Crazy bitch news. Crazy bitch
please wrap up.
Look at me.
Okay, we're all done here.
Fucking
Hey,
pathetic.
no, we're all done. Come on.